certainly microbes attack will be there. So this is one main cause which causes a very hindrance at the time of maintaining that quality of raw material. Second one is adulteration. From the word itself, everybody knows that it is adulterated, means so many materials are adulterated with a similar looking one. Uh, and this may be caused because of two reasons. One may be the due to the ignorance of that collectors, because these collectors may be a very low level people and they are not that much knowledgeable people, so they are collecting that material with means they have that idea that such leaves are of that whatever they means some this work is given by somebody to some people, and they know that they will give the some means examples also to collect that material. At that time they will compare it with the similar looking one and they will collect it. In other cases, these traders itself themselves tried to adulterate with the spurious ones for the monetary purpose, for getting more money with the poor quality ones. But it always they are using, they are very skilled people for adulteration. They are using almost similar looking materials. Another one is misidentification. This is mainly because of that different local names for a species. Because region to region, that local names are different for a plant. And similar way, different plants are known by same name in different places itself. So in such cases, there are chances for misidentification of these products, and this mainly causes again that quality of the raw material. And another one is internal factors. Internal factors is mainly that complexity of the drug. Complexity, how we can simplify this one? For example, if it is an allopathic drug or a paracetamol, maintain its quality is very much easy because it contains only a single compound. But in the case of this raw material of or even raw material and finished product of herbal means medicines, it is very difficult because single raw material itself contains a lot of compounds. Then when if we comes to the formulations, again the complexity become more. So it is very difficult to maintain that quality of the drug when if we are means going to the internal factors. Then again, next one is non-uniformity of the ingredients. It means, see, if we are taking a composition, a formulation, for example, Chyawanprash itself, it contains a number of ingredients, especially 38, and in some cases, as per the reference, if it is Charak reference or with the Ashtanga Hridaya reference, that a number of ingredients varies. Similar way, uh, if everybody is using same reference itself, the means that material also different according to the place. If even in here itself, for example, this Jivanti is one of the ingredient in that Chyawanprash. So if we are collecting that Jivanti from the Delhi market, we will get a orchid, yellow colored orchid. But as per that pharmacopoeia, it is always telling that leptadenia to be used. So some of the manufacturers are using that leptadenia root, and some others, whatever are available in the market, they are using that one. If you are going to the southern part of India, there you will get holostema in the name of Jivanti. So this is the so in Chyawanprash, which is we are collecting from southern part, it contains this holostema. I am telling about only one ingredient. Actually, this dashamula is also one of the ingredient in this Chyawanprash. So the ingredient, if you are going to again that ingredients of dashamula, again you will get a number of variations according to that place, region. So this is the another non-uniformity, another factor that means non-uniformity of the ingredients in the formulations. So all these together we have to control when we are going for the quality control of formulations. Then how can we this maintain all these things. There comes the role of these regulatory authorities. So, how can they maintain this one? Because regulatory authority is mainly responsible for regulating these finished products by insisting that manufacturers to follow the formularies when they are going for developing that finished product. Strictly, you have to tell them to follow that formularies. So, whatever ingredients involved in that formula means a finished product should we can maintain that uniformity. And the next manufacture of we have to insist it. Is it audible to last? Hello, is it audible? And to insist them to follow that GMP. And another one is we have to insist them to follow the pharmacopoeial standard, even for the single drugs and also for the finished products. Because pharmacopoeia already in pharmacopoeia we are setting standards with the authenticate samples. So for the single drugs they have to follow that pharmacopoeia volume pharmacopoeial volumes of part 1, and for the finished product they have to follow the part 2 monographs of pharmacopoeias. So this drug inspectors and others has to insist these manufacturers to maintain this quality to some extent, because there are again another factors, just like I have already told that some external factors are there regarding that contamination and lack of good agricultural practices, and also lack of good processing practices like that. So we have to insist all the different levels of people to follow the standard procedures. Then next, so we came to know that this is the basic requirement to maintain the means quality control. This identification of the raw drug is the main basic requirement for to maintain that quality of finished product, and also the quality of that raw material itself. Why we are doing all these things? This is mainly everybody knows that to avoid that substitution and adulteration, and also to assure that quality of the medicine, because we know that if the ingredients are in good quality, certainly that finished product also will be with a good quality. Then before going to that how we can maintain this quality of the raw drugs and also its finished product, let us see the general some of the important characters regarding that raw drugs, because in all traditional systems of medicine, that is Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and also in homeopathy, these raw materials are used in natural form, and it is known as single drug. Why it is known as single drug? Because drug is a substance which used as medicine to cure the diseases. So if we are considering a single raw material, just like ginger, it even in fresh condition and also in dried condition, we are using it as a single medicine. That's why all these raw materials are known as single drugs in traditional systems of medicine. And another important matter regarding this raw material is its main source is natural resources only, and that also it comes in different categories. That raw material may be from plant origin, and maybe metal mineral origin, and also from animal origin. And again, if we are considering that plant material from plant origin, again so many criteria are there, because not in we have seen so many plants with the small plants and larger trees also there, and palms are also there. So if we are going for which is in use, if we are considering that one, we will see that is flowers of some of the plants are in use, fruits of some of the plants are in use, and bark, rhizome, leaves, stem, heartwood, sometimes whole plant itself. According to classical text, if it is a herb, usually the whole plant is referring to use as a raw material. Then sometimes it may be the root of a plant and sometimes maybe the seeds. So if if we are considering that plants raw material from plant kingdom, these type of categories are there. Among these, that raw material comes under the category root is more in use, and that also mainly almost all these raw materials are comes in the form of dried material. Only a few are used in fresh condition. That also for making juice and other thing. Those materials are used as a in fresh condition. Otherwise, most of them are in dried condition itself. That also part of plant. So in such cases, there is very difficult to identify that one because if it is in fresh condition, that also whole plant, it is very easy for the identification with all its characters. And if it is a part of plant, again it becomes very difficult to identify. So that and in addition to that, as a addition to these parts of plant, some of the derived products are also used as a raw drug. For example, gums resins, oleoresin, oleogum resin, uh, just like asafoetida, and a solid extract of aloe vera, and juices and volatile oils, fixed oils, all these are comes as a raw material for the preparation of medicines. Then in such cases, I have already told that if it is in whole plant and if it is in fresh condition, it is very easy to identify that one. But it is a if parts of plant and that also in dried condition, it is very difficult. In such cases, for the identification, we have to use some of the parameters. That is especially that pharmacognostic evaluation we have to conduct, and that also especially botanical means characters. That is the first step to maintain the quality of the material. And it involves organoleptic evaluation, macroscopic evaluation, and microscopic evaluation. Then one by one we can go for what are the organoleptic evaluation, macroscopic and microscopic. All these you can conduct even if the material is in entire form or in cut form, or if it is in powder form. Everything is these parameters are applicable to all these forms of raw materials. What is organoleptic evaluation? Organoleptic evaluation is the examination of that crude drug with our sensory organs. That is a usual practice. Whatever material, if it is a raw material or even in our daily life also, if it is a cloth, immediately we will check its whatever we get in our hand. We are checking with our sensory organ. In what we are observing, its color, shape, size, and here if it is in raw material, we are checking its texture, odor, taste, and fracture. So all these characters we have to observe with our sense organs. Color, you know that various colors are there. So that the raw material has also its own specific material has its own color, and texture also, whether it is soft or hard or it is brittle. All this we have to observe, and odor. Odor is the smell. Smell also we have to follow the standard procedure. Sometimes from the market, if you are collecting some of the material, sometimes even though if it is a very good aromatic plant, sometimes we will not get that actual smell because it is so many hours it is exposed to the air, so the smell of that external surface may be lost. So that time what you have to do, you have to either break it into pieces and then you take the smell. Otherwise, after reaching to the lab, you have to powder it and then keep it in a poly bag, and then you have to open that one. And that smell is the actual smell of that raw material. Similar way, the taste also you have to, for taking the taste, you have to follow a standard procedure. For this one also, you have to powder that material and using a wet glass rod, you have to take that powder in small quantity, and before tasting that one, we have to rinse our mouth with water, and then keep that powder on our tongue and take the taste. That is the actual taste of this one. So when you are going for testing this smell and taste, you have to first you have to means refer all the related standards, and you have to confirm that it is not a poisonous material. If it is a poisonous material and if it causes any allergy, then avoid such parameters. There are, because not depending upon the some of the material immediately you can observe with, for example, abrus precatorius. Everybody knows this one. So from the external character itself, with the color itself, we can easily identify that this is the original abrus precatorius seeds. But in some other cases, if it is a root, again you have to go for all the parameter. So if you are losing one or two parameter, just like odor and taste, if it is poisonous, you can go for next parameter for the confirmation. See, again under the sensory characters, next one is fracture. Fracture. What is fracture? If we are means breaking a material, applying some pressure, it will break into two pieces. And means you have to observe the cut surface, how it appears. That is the fracture of that material. And if it is very smooth, we will call it as a short. That fracture is short. And if it is granular in appearance, that character will be granular. Fracture will be granular. And if some projected points are, you can see that projecting tips of that fibers or whatever it may be, we will get a projected ends. That time we will call it as splintery. And then the fibrous are there. Fibrous texture is mainly because of the presence of more fibrous material in that one. In such cases, it is very difficult to make into two pieces. That time again, after baking it, you have to make into, if you need to make into two pieces, you have to again use a knife to cut that fibrous material. Again, next one is the laminated fracture. Laminated fracture means if we are breaking, this is mainly we can observe and for the bark material, because if we are breaking into two, you will get at the cut surface different layers of that. Very well, it is very well visible in different layers with different colors. So that type of cut surface is known as laminated. That type of fracture is known as laminated. This is especially observed for the bark materials. All other, especially for the root, stem, and bark, all these fracture characters you can observe in different material depending upon its character. Then again, next parameter is the macroscopy. So after organoleptic, this is a part of this organoleptic is also a parameter, part of that macroscopic characters. So here we are observing its other characters, external characters, just like size and its color, and also its external surface appearance with our naked eye, or we can use a hand lens, or that dissection microscope, or a stereo microscope itself, because if the seeds are very small, you can go for the observation under that stereo microscope. Because here that we will get nearly up to 100 times magnification we will get under this microscope. And what are the macroscopic character to be observed? That is, depending upon the part of the plant, characters observed are different. For example, for the stem, we have to observe its dimension, shape, color, whether it is herbaceous or woody, or it is a creeper, or with any other appendages like tendrils, and that all you have to observe. And in the case of rhizome leaf, depending upon different parts, you have to observe various macroscopic characters. And if it is an aerial part or whole plant, you have to observe all these characters. Even for the, not only for means identification of these raw drugs for quality control, even for preparing that standard also, same parameter you have to observe for the raw materials. And see, now we are observing this character, macroscopic character, depending upon the parts. if you are getting a material, first of all, you have to observe whether it is a root or stem. And this underground, we came to know that this is an underground part. So if it is an underground part, what may be that one? Whether it is a root or rhizome, or if it is a comb, or even if it is root, it is a taproot, or it is a fibrous or adventitious root. And if it is such root, again we have to observe that this is a tuberous root. Tuberous means it storage will be more in such roots. So if it is in dried condition, its surface will be more wrinkled than normal root. Similar way, you have to observe whether it is a bulb or rhizome. See, here in the picture, I have shown two types of rhizomes. One is that ginger and another is the acorus root, rhizome. See the pattern of that rhizome. That so even among the rhizomes, it shows depending upon the nature of that plant, characters of rhizome will be different. And next, if it is a leaf, first of all, you have to observe whether it is a simple leaf or compound leaf. Even if it is simple leaf means what is the character? It have a stalk and a lamina portion. Sometimes the stalk also absent. At that time, we will call it as sessile leaf. If it is with a stalk, that stalk is known as petiole, and we will call it as a petiolate leaf. So the broad area we are it is known as lamina portion. That lamina portion also whether it is lobed, because in the lower portion you can see a different types of laminas. Even though if it is simple leaf, you maybe it is you will mislead it for the compound leaf, but you have to clearly observe that whether the lamina is lobed or not. In a similar way, if it is a compound leaf, again you have to observe its pattern of arrangement. In such cases, each small unit is known as leaflets, and that leaflet also petiole. Stalk of that is known as petiole, and maybe with a petiole or without the petiole. That also you have to observe. Sometimes it may be palmately compound, just like our palm, it comes from the center, and all the leaflets will be with petiole. Again, there are some variations. Sometimes maybe the terminal one like that petiole, and sometimes all the leaflets maybe means will not have any petiole. And again, if it is a pinnate leaf, again you have to observe that if it ends with a single leaf or with a two leaf. If it is two leaf, we will call it as pinnate leaf. This one. And if it is empty with one leaf, it is known as imparipinnate leaf. And again, depending upon the branches of that this rachis, we will call it this pinnately compound leaf to bipinnately compound, tripinnately compound, and tetrapinnately. Like that, depending upon that number of branches. So in the case of leaf, you have to observe all this character if you are getting entire leaf. Otherwise, sometimes it may be broken pieces. That time, again, you have to go for next type of observations. Especially that its margins and also that shape of that leaf. And again, you will get that petiole and rachis, everything you will get in the sample. So you have to observe more samples, and then you will get each character of that leaf. See, first of all, that the shape of the leaf also very important depending upon the species. Maybe lanceolate or heart shape, cordate shape, or obovate shape, or pillar shape. Shape or means I'm giving only a few examples here because there are so many n number of terminologies that everything you will get from the standard and also from flora. If it is not in the standard, you can refer that flora also, and you will get that terminology. Especially that the shape of terminal portion, leaf tip also very important. Similar way, the base also very important, and similar way, its margin also very important. If without any tooth appearance, we will call it as a entire one. This entire also there may be some wavy margins. That time we will call it as a wavy margin. And toothed also, depending upon the degree of that cutting, it is known as crenate, lobate, lobate, crenate, serrate, incised and dentate. Like that different. Again, there are so many terminologies. And if it is a whole plant, again you have to go for its arrangement on the stem, whether it is opposite or alternate or weld, because leaf comes from the node. So in that node, if there are two leaves, how it is arranged? It is always in opposite condition itself. That opposite also, sometimes it may be again next to node, it may be in right angle to that one. That time we will call it as opposite decussate arrangement, especially in the case of Rubiaceae family. Next one is that alternate arrangement, because in each node you will get only single leaf. Then the next one is weld condition. Here in the node you will get more than two leaves, and that also arranged in a weld. Then another important character on leaf is the trichomes. This trichomes you can also observe in some of the plant on the stem also, that is especially in the terminal portion of the stem. So this trichome also, there are a number of trichomes. Normal covering trichomes are there, glandular trichomes are also there. And in covering trichome also, uh, that also shape uniseriate or multiseriate or single celled or multi-celled, different types of trichomes are there. This for this one also you have to refer some of the books regarding this one, and even standard it is already, we have already set that standard also. It is included in the standard. And in the case of fruit, in the case of fruit and seeds, most of the cases, if it is small seed and fruit, it comes entire form itself. So it is very easy to identify depending upon its shape, size, and color itself. So I have already told that if it is this abrus seed, from the color and the shape itself, you can immediately identify that one. So no need to go for next parameters. Here, so from the or the microscopic character itself, you can immediately identify that one. Next is heartwood. Heartwood means that is the internal portion of the mature stem. That is known as heartwood. It is almost dead cells. So you have to observe, especially this is the xylem region. So those characters you have to observe, because in xylem region, if you are observing from the external surface, certainly you can see that xylem rays. Due to the appearance of that xylem rays, it get a granular nature. So that granular nature also very important for each species of hardwood. And here also, you, that heaviness also very important, because if it is not hardwood, sandalwood comes in the market in different forms. Sometimes you will get an actual smell, but even then the quality will be poor, because maybe it comes the sap wood, external wood comes in the market. In such cases, that oil content will be less, and it is of second quality one, and especially that is the outer wood region. And there you will get more parenchyma, living cells, everything of the xylem region. So that may be of poor quality one, and that is sapwood only. But heartwood means it should be always the innermost portion of the stem. So that type of character you have to observe. And if bark is the main, and this is very important, because it shows very variations when it get dried, because bark are usually it is collecting from main trunk and also from the branches. On branches you will get a very thin type of bark, but it is already matured one. We have to avoid, if it is not specifically defined, that you have to collect very delicate barks, especially in the case of cinnamon. Cinnamon, usually we are collecting that bark from the branches of pencil size. That is good quality cinnamon. That provides good quality cinnamon. But yeah, in other all ficus species, everything, everybody is collecting bark from the mature branches and also from the main trunk. And if we are keeping it for drying, certainly its shape will be changed depending upon the cells present inside that one. So it attains various shades depending upon species. So first of all, you have to observe its color, and yeah, and another one is another main important character is from the literature you have to collect that whether your bark may be a entire bark or the inner bark. For example, only for that cinnamon we are always using that inner bark after removing that cork region. And another one is shape. Shape, flat or curved or channeled, single killed or double killed, and or compound killed. Compound killed nature will be observed in the case of cinnamon. And the next come to the next parameter is the microscopy. Microscopy, from the word you know that it is using a microscope, we have to observe its cellular characters, how it is arranged, which all type of cells are there, and is there any inclusions in the cells. So for that, we have to take a thin section because for this one, we have to observe under compound microscope. So for that, first of all, you have to take a very thin sections. That thin sections may be taken by hand or using any microtome. And that also depending upon the material, we have to take TS or sometimes PS and LS. So after taking section, we have to clear that section with the chloral hydrate because chloral hydrate is a very good clearing agent and it removes that excess mucilage and other oily appearance. So we can observe the character very well. And next, again, we have to observe that is cellular inclusions. For that, we have to use various reagents also. And also, whether the wall lignified or not, that also we have to observe. Depending upon that one only, we are observing which type of tissues are there. So, if we are adding fluoroglucinol and concentrated HCl, that lignified cells will impart with red color. And similar way, ruthenium red, or we are using ruthenium red for the confirmation of presence of mucilage. Similar way, for the starch, iodine solution is used, and for tannin, ferric chloride, and for oils, both fixed oils and volatile oils, we are using Sudan 4. And see the various another important character in cell inclusion is crystals. This crystal also one of the diagnostic character for the identification of raw materials because some of the plant include some specific crystals. There are, depending upon the shape, there are different types of crystals, maybe prismatic, just like prism type crystals, and rosette crystal, uh, and cluster crystals. These are acicular or rhaphoid crystals, and again, this is again cluster crystals in another form, and these are the microsphenoidal crystals, sand-like crystals. That is a typical character of Solanaceae family. In similar way, next this is the cystolith. This is calcium carbonate depositions, and this is a typical character of Acanthinaceae family. So all these different type of crystals, what are the crystals present in that one, you have to observe for getting a good clarity means observation. For this one only mainly we have to use that chloral hydrate for clearing that section. Without imparting any stain, we can observe these characters very well. These are some of the images using that various reagents. First two are the starch grains, how it appears in powder form and also how it appears in the inside the cell. Similar way, this is using fluoroglucinol, how the lignified cells appears. This is the fibers in phloem region, and this is the fibers in xylem region. Even in xylem region, again lignified cells are xylem vessels and tracheids. That also, depending upon their lignification, color also varies. And next is tannin, presence of tannin by ferric chloride. This one, third row. Next is the oil globules, using that Sudan red. How it appears. Next, if again I am describing that how if you get a leaf, how you have to observe all this character. Maybe sometimes it may be in crumbled form. That time you have to keep it in water for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it will get spread. And that time again first you have to observe its external character, and again if it is more broken pieces, you have to go for the section, means microscopic study. First you go for microscopic study and then you have to go for the microscopic study. For that you have to take section of PTO and midrib, and also in the lamina portion how the cells characters are there. So you have to match it with any of the standard, and then you can confirm that whether your material is genuine or not. In the case of leaf, another important character you have to observe is the stomata. Stomata, you know, it is appears on the surface of the leaf, and leaf has two surfaces, upper and lower surface. Most of the cases you get stomata from lower epidermis, and in some of the plants, stomata are present on both upper and lower uh, surfaces. So that time also you have to observe what are the type of stomata. Mainly there are four main type of stomatas. One is parasitic. This name also we are identifying this type depending upon the stomata and its subsidiary cell. What are subsidiary cell? It is the very adjacent cell. That cell also in size and shape it is shows variation from the nearby epidermal cells. Size will be very small when compared to epidermal cells. Similar way, if the epidermal cell is wavy, this subsidiary cells have no any wavy nature to the walls. So you have to observe that subsidiary cell and stomata. If it is parallel, then we call it as parasitic. If it is right angle to the stomata, it is known as diacytic. And if there are more than three subsidiary cells, and that also unequal in size, we call it as anisocytic. And if there is no any subsidiary cell, it is known as anemocytic. In after that, there in the leaf you will get a different combinations of this one also. Sometimes in same species you will get only one type of stomata. Sometimes maybe two, three. In the case of Ossimum, you will get three types of stomata. Even diacytic, sorry, isocytic, anemocytic, and even parasitic also. That half parasitic also you will get from the Ossimum leaf. So different types of, again the variation you can observe from the leaves. And another one is some another actinotypic stomata is also there. That is only a variation from the anemocytic. And another one is leaf constant values. That is stomatal number, stomatal index, and palisade ratio and vein highlight number. What is stomatal number? That is the average number of stomata in a unit area of a leaf epidermis. For that again you have to clear that epidermis, and using that chloral hydrate or potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide, you can clear that pieces of leaf, and you can observe that pieces under microscope. Then you will get that stomata, and you have to count that stomata and epidermal cell. That average number of stomata is in a unit area. That is very strictly you have to follow. To use from the today's lab demonstration, we will show you that how to count that stomatal number, because in the case of stomatal number, you have to count it from 1 square mm itself. But in the case of stomatal index, because stomatal index is the percentage number of stomata as compared to the total number of epidermal cells and stomata, including that stomata. And it is calculating with the formula uh, number of stomata divided by E plus S, means number of epidermal cell plus stomata, and multiplied by 100, because we are calculating its percentage. So in this case, any area you can identify, and we are multiplying it to 100. So that index may be almost, means index may be uniform if you are taking in different areas. But in the case of stomatal number, you have to observe always within 1 square mm. Next character is palisade ratio. This palisade ratio is the average number of palisade cells under single epidermal cell. For this one also we are following that we have to count the palisade number under 4 epidermal cells, and again we are taking its average. So to get an accurate value, you have to count more data. And similar way, vein highlight is again the average number of vein highlights per square mm on leaf surface. Then for For this one also you have to clear that leaf using these reagents. So usually nowadays this is very time consuming parameters. So if the leaf is if the related species are in use, then only we are going for such parameter. Otherwise you have to observe only that type of stomata. That is very important. Otherwise if you are getting a very small piece, it is very difficult to count that this average number of stomata and also that stomatal index. So usually you have to observe that type of stomata. That is very important. Next, if it is a root, what or character you have to observe. If it is a root, again you have to go for the section. Cross section and also longitudinal section is very important because the type of vessels you can observe only when you are taking a longitudinal section. And see, from periphery to center you have to observe the character and you have to match it with a standard, and only you can confirm your sample is genuine. Similar way, this I have shown one as an example for rhizome. This is Curcuma longa rhizome. Here you can see that yellow colored depositions. That is curcumin deposition. Even this curcumin presence we can observe even from the cross section itself. Similar way, this is an example for the bark. Here also you have to observe from the periphery to the center region. First will be the cork region, then cortex, and in the cortex what all type of tissues are there. Here you can see a band of stone cell. Then again in the phloem region, again you will get a band of phloem fibers. And again, what are the inclusions in that one? Tannin cells and also crystals in the form of rosette and prismatic type. Again, starch grains are also there. All these type of means observation you have to done for all the cross sections. And if it is a flower, again flower is very easy to identify with the flora itself, with the each character. And again fruit. I have already told that if it is fruit and seed, from the external character itself, a microscope itself, you can observe and you can confirm that material. And if it is all plant, again you have to go for all these different small components. That is root, leaf, stem, everything you have to observe. And if it is a hardwood, again you have to mainly observe its cross section and also the longitudinal section. And here this is the sandalwood cross section, and see the oil content. This sandalwood oil is giving its quality. And even if it is a distillate one, you can easily observe with the absence of that oil content in the cross section. Even in the sapwood also this oil content will be less. So based on that one you can go for the grading of that raw material. This is another hardwood, that is Pterocarpus allanus, red sandalwood. Here also the cross section and longitudinal section is very important for observation. And even I have already told that this powder microscopy can be applied even for the powder study also, if the material comes in the form of powder. Again you have to observe, you have to prepare the sample on a slide, and using this reagent again you have to observe different type of cells, and this can be applied even for the identification of an ingredient in a formulation if it is in powder form. And this I am giving some comparison to how we can apply these parameters to distinguish that characters. See, microscopically, this is the Eagle marvelous root, Vilva root in first two, and this second two are that it's adult trend. Atlantium monophyllus comes in the market as an adult trend. Externally, it is looking similar. Even the surface also looking similar, but because both of them are comes under Rutaceae family, and but the cross section shows that variation. Even that longitudinal section and cross section, you will immediately distinguish that the original and adult trend. And another important one is Saraka Shoga bark, and this is now also it is comes as a adult trend. Usually, you know that our polyalthia has also some one name as Ashoka in many places. So that also by mistake somebody is using as Ashoka bark, and in the market usually this Shorea robusta bark is comes as adult trend. See, this is the microscopy of Sarakachoga bark, and this is the cross section of Polyalthia bark, and this is the cross section of Shoria robusta bark. See the variation. What all type of cells are present in Sarakachoga, and what are the inclusions in this one, and how it is arranged, everything we have to compare with your standard. So, in this way, we can observe and we can maintain the quality of raw material, and also same you can observe under using that powder microscopy. You can apply this parameter even in the formulations also to maintain that quality of raw material and also the finished product. Thank you. If anybody has any doubt and any question, you can ask.
Excuse me. Can we differentiate it in compound form? Yeah? Can we differentiate it in compound forms?
Compound
Compound formulations.
compound formulation means that is preparation. It's medicine itself.
Can this
Because
be
you are
used?
getting tribala churna. Tribala churna is a compound preparation. In that tribala churna, there are 3 ingredients. Similar way, there are so many other finished products also, that is known as compound preparation.
Mixture
Otherwise,
more
it is
than
single
one.
drugs only.
If more
Because
than one
drug is
ingredient,
medicine.
it is a compound.
Can we apply it in?
Yes, we are also observing that one. If we are getting a sample from outside, in the means, just like tribala churna, there should be 3 ingredients. That is Terminalia bellerica, means it's fruit. Epic means that pericarp should be used in that one, and also Terminalia bellerica, Terminalia chabula, and amla should be there. So its character we have to observe under that microscope.
Madam, thank you very much for your nice presentation. Today we got many clarifications. Sometimes we are getting the leaves are dried leaves and
Yes.
how to examination, and sometimes we are getting the market many barks and powders, all these things. So in our lab also for the when we are getting material is the quality one, and how to test the primary test, we got very clear information. Thank you so much, madam.
Ma'am, sometimes. Yes, please. Ma'am, sometimes we are having very similar adulterants, substitutes with this one. In microscopy, they are very much similar, means is to metal number and all. Then how to differentiate during
So
microscopy?
that's why we have to go for the microscopy. Cross section. Cross section, certainly, I have already compared 5 species of Adathoda. That Adathoda means its internal arrangement of that palisade cells, even its epidermis, upper epidermis, lower epidermis, its inclusion, everything is different in this related species. Externally, that leaf looking similar, only the difference is its size only. All other characters are similar, but if you are going for the cross section, it is looking means very different. So microscopy you can apply in that case. Even stomatal number also it shows variation, but why we are getting similar stomatal number and other thing, we are not following actual procedure, because it shows very much variation depending upon your preparation. When you are going for that epidermal study, you have to use actual procedure, because it is always telling that you have to use a mature leaf. And also if you are calculating that leaf um, in one season, and again same leaf you are calculating the stomatal number of same plant in another season, it shows very much variation. That's why nowadays we are not depending more on this stomatal number and stomatal index, because during that rainy season it shows vigorous growth, so the number of stomatal number will be less, because epidermal cell will be with a large size. Similar way stomatal size also will be more, so the number of stomata in 1 square mm will be less when compared to the leaf collected in summer season. That's why nowadays we are going only for the type of stomata, not that much for the stomatal number. And if you are getting in very small pieces, that also very difficult to count that one. In such cases, only the cross section will help you for the identification.
Thank you, ma'am, for this particular information.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I would like to ask one question.
Suppose if we are using ingredients for polyherbal formulation making, and we found that the raw material is genuine, means
Yes.
as per pharmacognostic parameters, it is okay. But having safety issues like sometimes pesticide will come, sometimes heavy metal will be detected. At the time, what can be done to take the material for
Even
preparation?
for the material.
For preparation of formulation, because
For that
pharmacognostic
one
it is
first,
genuine.
that's why I have already told that so many external characters are already there, this contamination of pesticide, heavy metals, and these microbes. So you have to collect that material from a genuine source. If it is a cultivated land, you have to means observe that whether they are using that good collection practices and also good agriculture practices, then only you have to collect from that places. Otherwise, if you are collecting it from the outside, just like forest, that also you have to avoid that contaminated area. You have to collect it from a very good land, and then that also in correct time. That maturity also very important. So that also causes that quality of the raw material. So all these things you have to consider.
But my question is, sometimes it will be very difficult to collect the material from the market or from the genuine sources. So at that time, when we get some sample from some places, it may have some contamination. So
For
that,
that, if it is microbial contamination, usually we are washing water. Again, before getting into formulation, we are before used for the formulation, we are washing it with hot water. Again, we are observing, we are conducting that microbial test. If it is okay, then only you have to use it for the formulation. Like that.
I would like to ask one question, ma'am. Sometimes polyherbal formulation have more than 10 ingredient.
Uh-huh.
Then why we are not using applying in our pharmacopoeia like marker technique?
Yes, usually we are insisting that if it is more than 10 ingredients are there in the polyherbal formulation, we are not going for the microscopic evaluation, because it is mainly because of that is there are so many related characters. I have already told that if the raw materials are coming from same family of a plant kingdom, then it shows so many similarities. But certainly there will be that specific character of each plant. So you can use it. Example, if you want to confirm that this ingredient is whether it is used in or not. For that one, you can use this parameter. To avoid this overlapping character only, we are always telling that don't go for the microscopic test.
Thank you, madam. Uh, I think the session of these technical sessions is also going on very well since yesterday, and definitely you are enjoying this training program and also the your stay and your food. Is it? Okay, so good. And you know that the interaction is not only with the speakers. If anyone has some answer of any question, you can also interact in between, because you know that we are responsible for developing these standards and maintaining the quality only, not whole that all the production. We are not responsible for production, or not we have the research councils. So everything our speakers can tell. But maybe you are more than our speakers are very good. So here the purpose is not only the typical symposium where we are just listening, eating, and go. We wanted you all to be interacted with each other also, so that will be more beneficial to everyone, to yourself and my staff also. Thank you very much, because I have to go to attend one, the second the WHO, the second global summit is going to be held in Delhi on this 17, 18, and 19 December. So a preparatory meeting is called by our secretary today at 11. So myself and my PSO will be there. So I think now Dr. Nitin and Dr. Verma will join after an hour.
सर
Thank
वन
you.
स्मॉल सबमिशन सर, एक्सक्यूज मी सर, एक छोटा सा सबमिशन है.
हम्म.
अब जब हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग दिया जा रहा है आफ्टरनून सेशंस में, उसका थोड़ा like practically how it can be done, if it is shown, that will be more useful rather than just explaining things. ये क्या दो इंस्ट्रूमेंट के बारे में, उसको कैसे इस्तेमाल किया जाता है और कैसे करते हैं,
हाँ, तो ये मैडम सारा माइक्रोस्कोपी माइक्रोस्कोपी सबको दिखाइए कि सब लोग देखें कि क्या है, माइक्रोटोम कैसे कटिंग करते हैं आप, वो दिखाइए। ऐसे ही केमिस्ट्री सेक्शन वाले केमिस्ट्री का ध्यान रखेंगे पूरा। और आपका तो कॉग्नोसी, आज किसका विजिट है, केमिस्ट्री है कॉग्नोसी है? हाँ, तो आज मैडम लोग देखिए, और इंटरेक्शन देखिए हर टाइम होना चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं कि इस हॉल के अंदर ही हो, ड्यूरिंग टी, ड्यूरिंग लंच, whosoever the speakers of that day, they should attend the टी ऑल्सो। सब वो चाय में भी रहेंगे और वो लोग लंच भी साथ करेंगे सबके, ताकि इंटरेक्शन होता रहे, है ना?
Thank you, sir. Thank you
थैंक
so
यू वेरी
much.
मच।
Thank
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Today we have scheduled our hands-on in the pharmacognosy section. So there you will be able to see the parenchyma, sclerenchyma, collenchyma. You will be able to cut the section with your hands. You can prepare the slides there and examine under the microscope. So you have enough time to interact with the ma'am and Nitin madam also. So here you have just show the slides in the photographs. These are the collenchyma, these are the parenchyma. But in the hands-on, you will see with your naked eyes under the microscope how the parenchyma cell is looking like, how the collenchyma cells are looking like. So now the time for our next lecture, I would invite Dr. Nitin Rai, the dais. She will deliver in the lecture in the how to ensure the quality in raw material of the Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic drug. She is the scientific officer in the pharmacognosy section. She is having the vast experience and having so many research articles and 3 4 books in the quality control and standardization of Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani drug. So I would request, ma'am.
Hmm. Good morning, everyone. So today's my talk is how to ensure the quality in raw material of ASU and H drugs. So now we get a refreshment with a cup of tea. When we talk about the tea, that water, tea, milk, sugar is very much essential for the tea preparation. But when we want to some value addition, that time we have to add something which we really want to enhance their value. So that time cardamom, ginger, black pepper, whatever you want, that things comes under the value addition. Same time we required equipment, that will be the utensils, energy, sieve, cup. And now third process is the SOP, that how to process the work. And next is the serving is very much essential, that it's all over the work which comes under our result. So when we uh, get the things what we want, that time we feel happy, otherwise we feel sad. So the things are depend all over on the quality. Now the question is arising, that what is the wisdom of factor? It is the quality. And can we ensure the quality? So the quality is basically divided in again these factors, that composition and factors. So when we talk about the composition, that is ingredient, equipment, process, value addition, and services. When we talk about the factor, these four factor is comes for all things. That is the material, machine, method, and man is related for the all things. So can we control the quality? Yes. How can we control the quality? And how can we control the efficacy of the drug? By adopting the quality standard of raw material and processes. So these are the factors which are affecting the quality of the material. That two basic thing is quality of we can say that quality of raw material is depend on the good culture agricultural practices and collection practices, and storage is required for both before the preparation and after the preparation. Storage is must for any drugs or after the preparation. And naturally we are connected with the regulatory parameters. If we follow the all parameters, regulatory parameters, naturally we get the quality material. So here we discussed about the raw material. We know that in our system, in Indian system of medicine, we are using basically 95% preparation with the help of the raw material, and remaining will be the animal, mineral, and chemical origin. So the plant origin is the major part of the any formulation on any medicines in our system, and similarly, animal origin, mineral, or chemical is also the part of our ASU system. And in homeopathy, we are using microbes, nosode, and sarcodes also for the preparation of medicines. That time the we can categorize the plant material in the two categories that madam already told, that if the material is we are using in the entire form, it comes under the organized drugs. That when we take the material or part, that rhizome, barks, leaves, fruit in entire form for the preparation of medicines, that is comes under the organized. And when we their secondary part, or after the processing of in season drying or extraction, that will be the juice, latex, and gelatin, comes under the unorganized drugs. So the plant origin of drug, basically the sources where we can get these materials for the preparation of medicine, that is basically three category, or three source we have. That is the cultivation. First one is the cultivation, and second one is the collection or wild sources, and forest reason, and third one is the commerce. So when we talk about the cultivation and collection, that time we have the limited sources, because we focused on those drugs only that which are we required for other preparation of medicines, that most of the biggest industries are there who is cultivated their material in with the help of processing. And when we talk about the huge amount of raw material, that time we choose the collection from the forest region. And commerce is the very common place where we can collect our process material for the processing. So that time question is arising that how we ensure our quality in the first stage, that is the good agriculture practices we are focusing here. Because we know that the any quality start with the, if we have the material or raw material for the any purposes, should be it have good quality. So here we discuss about the good quality, that here is a definition of the good agriculture practices. That is the a cultivation program designed to ensure the optimal yield in the terms of the both quality and quantity for any drugs which are using for the health purposes. So we divided here these all the factors in four categories. That first one is the site selection, soil and climatic condition, seed and propagation material, and then crop management and cultivation. Then we talk about the site selection. That time we have to aware that where we are growing our material or drugs raw material, that the area should be free from any type of contamination, any type of heavy metal containing area, soil. So there is the first question is that before we starting our this process or cultivation process, we have collect a site should be free from any type of contamination. And then soil and climatic condition, we have to aware that which kind of material we want, that there how is their soil and how is their climatic condition. Sometimes some example is given here, that tulsi, neem, brahmi, avla, that is the tropical region is common for these type of the cultivation. But when we talk about the aconitum like this species, these type species, high altitude and a high temperature is required, a low temperature is required for that type of. So the collection of sites and soil and condition is very much essential for this first step. These are the some example that which type of soil is preferable, and reason why we we using these type of the soils. So soil is different for different type of the crop. Now we talk about the seed and propagation material. That we know that the most of the germination we do with the help of the seed, but sometimes different part of the plant are also using for the propagation. So we have to aware that the seed we are using, it should be good quality seed. It's have their certified seed, and the seed is a very recent one. So the crop or whatever we yield is getting, it will be the quality yield. And with the help of bulb, poms, tubers, and rhizome, runner, sucker, offset, or stolon, it's also the part of the cultivation. These are the uh, plant part which are using for the regeneration of plant material. And now we come to the crop management for the cultivation. At that time we have to know that where at what time, how many time we plogging the field, and at how much time we have to go for the weeding of the field. These all are comes in the crop management, and which type of the organic material or which type of the vermicompost we are using for our field. So all should be the documented. Now after the cultivation, the second step is coming the good field collection practices. This is the definition of the good field collection practices. Sometimes we are good agriculture and good field collection practices is come together. Sometimes we are categorized into category that good agriculture practices, then we come with the good field collection practices. So when we talk about the good field collection practices, these points are also again come, that site selection, compliance of regulatory requirement, harvest collection, post harvest management, and packing, storage, machinery, documentation, training, workers health, and records. These are the step by step points that is the part of the good field collections. Now here again site selection is coming. Whenever we start for the collection from the forest or cultivated area is already all documentation or record is maintained by the person, so there is no this much exercises required. But when we go for the collection from the forest region, that time we have to aware that which type of plant we require. We have to go with the before starting the survey tour, we have to go with the flora of that particular region. We have to maintain a list and identification character whatever drugs we required. So first step is this, because we are also working in in this field, and we are preparing monograph or standards for the ASU drugs. That time our mandate is also connected with this type, and we have one project also, that is the regional raw drug repository project. That project is connected with Gangetic region. So we have they allotted us area, that is the Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, and Bihar. These three areas is the allotted area for the Gangetic region, because they allotted this different zone for others project, but we are covered this. And in our mandate, we are all over the country, we can collect the material for the preparation of the standard. Actually when we start our development of the monograph, that time we have to require three climatic zone or three different zone material for the preparation of standard. So variation we can create a range for the material, their standards. So now site selection we start. Then identification, already told that we have to aware that how the morphology and their structure and their similar points which are matched with the material which we required. So that time standards, published standards and identification ke liye, you can go with the herbariums. These are the some documents which we help, which can we take for the identification purposes. Now the harvest and collection management, that time we very much aware that what we want to collect, whatever we want to collect, that only have to collect, otherwise don't try to collect more or unrequired material, because we have to conserve the forest, or we take care of that area. So that time collection, collect only mature or healthy plant which we required, and avoid rare and those plant, because now the species is also going off, so we take care of that. And leaf, during the collection we have to try that 80% material we can collect, and remaining 20% should be there for the next generation. Then the step is the post harvesting management. With the help of these parameters we collected the sample, but after the collection we must ensure that the material whatever we collected is free from any kind of the soil or other kind of contamination, should be far from these samples, because if we not washed properly that samples, or not clean up, that microorganisms will grow in the material, and that time when we go the parameter of total S, that time also the insoluble material will come in our standards. And the drying process, we have to aware that the all the raw material which have the aromatic aromatic condition or leaves should be shade dried, and can for the bark or root or stem we can go with the sun dry in 1 or 2 days, otherwise we'll go with the dry and set it places for the drying process. Now the storage process is also very much compulsory, because if the material is not properly sealed or packed, that time the microbials contamination will grow here. So, or the material should be far from the ground region, and it's well sealed in a poly bag container, or whatever the sack we are using for the storage. Now the machinery and documentation and training, the person who is the involving in this process is well trained, because our taxonomist is a person who can do this work is very professional way, because he know that he or she know that identification of the material whatever we want, and a person who is part of this trainings should be aware that how to collect the material, how to keep the material, how to tagging is also a part of documentation. That time we collect the material, we have to take material, because after the processing we never know that what is the plant, because that time the plant go off their originality. So the tagging is very much compulsory for this during the collection, and documentation is the part of this. And machinery or equipment which are we using for during this should be good quality material, good quality tools, free from any type of contamination. Now after the collection we come to the quality assessment, because these all the parameters are outside from the laboratory, but after the collection naturally we come with the assessment process with the help of laboratory parameters. So the two things we are using during the quality assessment, that is the standards or that is the parameter. When we talk about the standards, it comes under the pharmacopoeia standards, and when we talk about the parameters, it's maybe self-generated parameters or any textbooks parameters. So the both are helping us to generate the assessment of the material. So these are the very common protocol or sample analysis parameter, that for the identification of raw material we go with the help of the macro, micro or TLC parameters. And when we talk about the purity, we have to go with the foreign matter total as an acid soluble, and strengthen के लिए alcohol water soluble and acid is part of the strengthen and other requirement parameter. Basically, very first parameter is the microbial load or aflatoxin is first we can say the microbial load, free from the any type of the microbial load, the raw material whatever we collected. Then again, next step we go with the botanical parameter, which is the macro, micro already madam explained, and remaining chemical parameter will go will we learn from next sessions whatever is coming with the chemist persons. Here we discussed already talked about the macroscopy, that already madam covered very well. And second one is the microscopical for the cellular study. Macro is the first or very cheap or very common parameter, where all the before the starting, if we don't know that the material is the genuine or not, so that time no need to go with the further process. If the material is genuine, then we go for the next steps, otherwise we can this. So now the quality specification, that quality specification we already talked, that regulatory specification is the pharmacopoeia standard, and non-regulatory it's maybe the different types of textbook, books, monograph, research publication, bibliography, manual, whatever we have related document is also comes under the non-regulatory parameters. So when we talk about the pharmacopoeia, this is the definition of pharmacopoeia. Pharmacopoeia is the collection of monograph where minimum standard feasible under this given circumstance and a draw subject of revision and scrutiny. Actually, when we talk about the pharmacopoeia, pharmacopoeia is the collection of monograph, and monograph is the collection of the common parameter or standard which can be used by the small industry to large industry. So these are the pharmacopoeia, Indian pharmacopoeia. Basically, we are working here for the Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. But in our country, we have Indian pharmacopoeia also for the allopathy drugs. So we are very much rich about the pharmacopoeia, because others country have one pharmacopoeia, but we have lots of pharmacopoeia. So this is the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. This is the format of the pharmacopoeia. Next one session regarding the pharmacopoeia also we have, that will we learn about this in the detailed form. But this is the their common format when we talk about the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. That pharmacopoeia there have the title, the which is divided as per their used part. In Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, it's may be different pharmacopoeial title. Or somewhere in homeopathy, basically mostly they are using homeopathy botanical name, and other Unani and Siddha is title may be different for the all pharmacopoeia. Definition mostly ASU, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha will be remain same, and synonyms will be, if we talk about the botanical names, synonyms will be the same for the all. And regional language is 14 languages we are using in our pharmacopoeia. So that is the not actual regulatory part, but it's easier for the understanding. And now macro micro powder, in our monograph we can see these parameters. So here we mostly talk about these parameters, because these are the parameters which are including in our pharmacopoeial monograph. So in pharmacognosy section, we are going through the macro, micro, and powder microscopy, and then identity, purity, foreign matter, total as acid insoluble, ethanol soluble, water soluble, TLC will go with the chemistry section, and other parameters also go with the microbiology section. And now remaining is the constituents and properties and importance of formulation will be different for the all pharmacopoeias here. So the science will remain same for the all, uh, except their therapeutic uses and the formulation and constitutions. Here we have part one, API part one, Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India part one, volume 1 to 10 publication we have. And for the part two, we have 6 publication, 5 publication, and formulary as well as also we have. And 1 to 6 volume is the particularly for the single drug material, and 7 and 9 is for the mineral metal, and 10 is for extract. This is the Siddha pharmacopoeia. This is also their format, and we have two pharmacopoeia about regarding the Siddha pharmacopoeia. And this is the Unani pharmacopoeia, and we have part one, 7 volumes of Unani pharmacopoeia, and part two we have 4 volumes regarding Unani formulations. And this is our homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India. We have 11 volumes, and there have 1,185 monographs of related to homeopathic pharmacopoeia. This is the Indian pharmacopoeia. That there is also some botanical monograph is there, and other countries pharmacopoeia also we can take help for during the assessment or during the standard development. And this is the our pictorial pharmacopoeia one, macro and microscopy atlas of pharmacopoeia. That there is the actually this is the same monograph which is published in part 1 volume 5, but this is the atlas which are pictorial atlas which is which we can take help during the practical session. And this is the thin layer. And now you can see this picture that one person is very much confused that this egg is belongs from which rack, that is the check or rules. Same time of the conditions we are also getting during the our process or during the practical process. That time all the leaves when it is in crumbled or it is in the dried form looking same, and all the barks or all the stem roots, everything is looking same. So that time, one things we have to know that the reference standard. So this is the definition. Reference standard is the primary reference substances that has to appropriate quality within a specified context and is accepted without recurring comparison to the another substances. Actually, this is when we talk about the reference standard. Here I'm talking about the botanical reference standard. That botanical reference standard is the repository assist in the confirming the identity of plant drug used by the industry or referred through the regulatory authorities. That time when we talk about the botanical reference standard, that time whenever we collect the sample, we know that the sample is what is the sample, because in the taxonomically we identified that time very carefully we come with those sample and kept and drying all the process. After that we generate their botanical reference standards. These parameter can be differ. We can go through only the macro micro powder botanical reference standard. At that time we can also add the chemical parameter also. It's depend up to you. So this is the process that how can we develop any botanical reference standard, or we can say any standard. So the first step is the procurement of source material from the market, from the cultivated place, from the forest. We can first procure the sample. That time next we go with the help of these protocol or sop is given in the pharmacopoeias or in-house protocol whatever we have. Then sample analysis, all the parameters in the laboratory, then evaluation of result, that what result we got, and after then approval and certification of competent authority. Because in all the in all the lab that the channel is there, that some analyst is there who is doing analysis work, then secretary some person is there who is the reviewing the work, and third is the authority or competent authority who can check that the whatever we result is getting is correct or not. So this is the step is the COE, we can say certificate of analysis we get. And then storage and then leveling and then sealing. That after that we have to seal the material whatever we their BRS we developing, seal them and for the long purposes. And now this is the ready to distribution. If you want to sell or if you want to use for the next coming testing, that time these material will help us. Because if something we getting or get from the got from the outside, that time we have one, suppose we have a abutolone route one, that time we have one BRS, that it's very much easy to compare these material with the help of reference standard. So this is the some labeling which we can put on the BRS. That is the their name, their category number, their when we packed this, their logo, and whatever information. But basically we can put their botanical name, source places, date of collection, and if we have many more their details. That time we go with the barcoding information where we can give the details about the material. So this is the one format for the BRS, that we have one unique number during the collection start. This unique number, that one number is a particular material we collected. Their BRS should be one. Their all the documentation comes under the same number, and then pharmacopoeial reference if we have, and botanical name, family, morphology part, which part we are using in this reference standard, root, stem, bark, or whatever, their organoleptic character, what we did or what we find in the pharmacopoeia, then microscopy and other chemical parameters. These parameters can be increased or can be less. So now here, if we are working for the with the help of these parameter, naturally we will get the quality material. So all the system is depend on the quality. So first we require the quality material, and these quality material can be get with the help of good agriculture practices and good collection practices. And in this field, WHO 2003 already published their protocol, and NMPB, National Medicine Plant Board, also published some protocol for this. So with these help, we can go with the quality standard. Thank you. Any question?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I would like to ask about the nosodes and sarcodes, how we do the standardization for their raw materials.
Ma'am, regarding this one, microbiology session is also with us, and they can speak about this very particular in upcoming sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Madam, I have one doubt. Actually, while when I was in my M farm, I confused. I am doing project that time. It is in Nilavambachurnam. It is herbal based. What happened now? First, if I find out any rare species in Western Ghats or Eastern Ghats, it is in coastal area. First, whom I should contact? Like taxonomist, I know, but it is in Botanical Survey of India or like a local. I'm still confusing that. Can you tell us?
Actually, when we start for the collection, that time the all state have their forest region. For
Yes, ma'am.
particularly there, first we have to take permission
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
help of our office to their office.
Yes, ma'am.
After then we can go for this, because we have some survey tour group. They, whenever they start their
Yes,
this
ma'am.
process, that time first they have to take permission from their authority. After then they will go for
Yes,
this.
yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question. How can we know the quality of gums, and can be able to identify different gums? What are specific characters?
Actually, for the all gum is not standard, but some gums standards is already published in our pharmacopoeia. At that time, when we go these parameter, we go with the parameter and comparison with the parameters with the help of
Generally, in
published.
pharmacognostic, what do we see?
In the pharmacognosy, where only we writing the morphology character, that how is the their color
But
and
I
shape,
have seen
and
samples in gum. They are little bit smaller size and the bigger size with same species.
that time
So that becomes very
actually the
difficult.
identification is not particularly depend in the botanical parameter. We have for the proper identification, we go with the all the parameters which is connected with the chemical parameter also. Some of the material is easy to find out with the help of macroscopy, but sometimes the material is very much similar in condition. That time we also go with that TS or section. Or if the confusion is there, that time we go with the TLC or other chemical parameter. Then all come with together. That time we
So
get.
what can you say about the color of a gum? Because sometimes I've seen whitish and brownish and the dark brownish color. Same sample material.
Actually, the color may be differ during the drying process also. In the pharmacopoeia is given, but it's may be differ. So this is not the particular one parameter which will help to identify the material.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, how can we do QC for homeopathic dilutions? Is there any process?
Dilution process.
QC for homeopathic medicines like dilutions.
Tincture.
Yesterday we had a hand in the section in the pocket one. You were there.
So we didn't have.
So we do one thing. We have a dedicated testing laboratory for the homeopathic drugs. So today, if you will get the visit there in the pocket, So there we see how we are testing the mother tincture potencies, ointments used in the homeopathy. So Saurabh,